Hey guys, we're going to explore sitting a little more, and in particular, again, we want to explore the sit bones versus the tailbone. And I would suggest um, getting a book, that's a couple inches to a hardcover book to sit on, so then you can feel those sit bones. Um, you can sit cross-legged, you can sit like that if it's comfortable, but what we don't want to do is round the back. Um, we want to try to stay as as tall and easy as possible, and that's what that book will help you do. You can get a couple books actually to elevate your hips, um, which will make it easier. Or if you want to sit cross-legged, you can also feel that, um, so that we're making contact with the sit bones, and we're just gonna move around here. So um, so I'll start like sitting like so with um, one leg one leg bent in, one leg bent out, and um, it's easier for me to put my weight on that left sit bone with my leg bent in, and I can reach behind me and feel the tailbone. We reach back, just follow your spine to the end, and you should be able to feel your tailbone right there. Um, we're gonna practice bending. We're gonna practice bending so that our tail doesn't come down. Our tail goes out, and we want to keep the spine aligned. So then we're bending over at the hips, and just play around with that, and bending at the hips so the tail goes away from our head. Our tail and our head are going away from each other. Okay, and then we can you know mix it up so then the tail comes down and our head collapses, just so we can feel the difference. Right? If the tail comes down and in, our spine will collapse. Whereas if the tail can go out, then our head and tail move away from each other, so whole spine elongates. I can do that bending, do that twisting, just a little bit. Don't be a hero. We're just playing around here and feeling that sit bone versus tailbone. Now let's go on the right. Go on the right sit bone, so I can feel that. Okay, and I feel the tail, and we're going to make good contact with the hip, sit bone in the floor or in the book, and I'm going to bend over so that the tail goes back and the head goes forward, and the whole spine can stay aligned. And I'll let the tail tuck under, collapse, sit tall again, twist to one side with my weight on that sit bone, twist to the other side with the weight on that sit bone. Okay, now I'll come just sitting on the floor. We can play with different positions. Let's bend our legs, and again, getting that, feeling that sit bone, feeling those sit bones. Now I'm on my tail. Now I'm on those sit bones. Okay. Now I'm gonna get rid of the book and see, if I can just sit tall like this and practice, moving around here, work on that hip mobility, and all the while, I want to keep my weight over my sit bones rather than my tail. Because again, when we're balanced over the sit bones, our whole spine can elongate. Whereas if we're on the tail comes down, it's going to collapse. So if we can keep the tail behind our sit bones and stack the spine over the pelvis. I'm just going to go slowly here. Stop in this position, and then go on that sit bone. Use my hand to keep myself erect, because if I don't use my hand, I'm going to fall onto the tail rather than onto that sit bone. So if you spend 10 minutes a day just sitting on the ground, and you can work towards doing this pancake stretch where we put our entire torso on the floor, but bending at the hips, not the waist, so that the tail goes back, the head goes forward, and our whole spine can stay long. And it helps, again, to put a book under there, and we can just keep the head high, spine long, and work that tail. So just spending some time every day on the ground like this will help keep your hips mobile, and you can really build that awareness of the sit bones versus the tailbone. So you keep that weight. You don't want to put all the weight on the tailbone, because then your spine will collapse. If you can keep the weight in front a little bit so the tailbone can go back, and then your head can go up, and you can carry yourself easier. So again, spend some time every day just sitting on the ground and building out this awareness of your bottom.